All right. After you have Chainbook Intelligence installed, what you would like to do probably maybe is to create an invoice. Let me show you how the system is going to handle the creation of the invoice and also posting the journal entries for you. On my screen here, I have opened the demo transport company, which we have onboarded before. What I will do now is to go ahead and create a new invoice, right? When I create a new invoice, first, the invoice items that needs to be included on the invoice have to be on the inventory, right? I'm going to go to the inventory side, check. I don't have any other item which is trackable in terms of the physical stock in terms of IS2. But what I do have is that I have the service which is here, which is a non-stocking item, meaning that there is no physical stock counting, right? Basically, this is the service rendering. So we're going to use the service in order for us to create our invoice. So the selling price is 10 Rand charge. This is an example of a transportation cost per kilometer, right? So I'm going to go to invoices. I'm going to add in a new invoice. This is a draft invoice. Let me say the due date of this invoice is not today, but tomorrow, right? Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the status as draft, but I can also change and just say this is a pending invoice or it's a paid invoice. You have to be careful in terms of the state transitioning, right? I think it's very, very good that each and every invoice needs to start from a draft state. Then from there, what I'm going to do here is either I'm going to search a customer which already exists in the system or create another customer. Now, what I'm going to do is to just say example at gmail.com. This will be the customer's email. Then the customer I'm going to say is John Doe, right? The customer is John Doe. Then I'm going to give John Doe an address. Let me say 23 Picard Street. Let me say Johannesburg, right? All right. Now, because I haven't selected the customer from the database of our customers from the system, what the system will then do is that after creating this invoice, the customer will automatically be created within the system through the different agents. Then here, I'm going to search the item from the system. So I'm going to search transportation services. Let's take this trip is going to take 100 kilometers, right? We charge 15% VAT within the service because it's a 15% and we are VAT registered. If it's a zero rated item, you can just leave the VAT at 0%, right? Then what we're going to do, we're going to say transport services for John Doe. You can just write anything within the notes and the terms. You just put whatever it is that you want to put. Then what I'm going to do is to say create the invoice. Now the invoice has been created, but take note of the status here which says draft. The nice feature about the system, what I like, is the invoice numbering tool, that it's sequentially numbered so that it is easy for you to be able to track the different invoices that are within the system. So you can see here, you have invoice 260730, which is just today's date, 2026, July the 30th, and 001, which means it's the first invoice of that day. So the system is going to be able to track invoices whenever it is processing the transactions using the invoice numbers. And also when you take this the data that is generated by the system, then you're going to give it to the auditors. They are going to be able to know that whenever they are trying to match a transaction with a certain invoice when they're auditing the revenue line, they'll be able to know which feature and which fields to grab in terms of the standard way in which the system generates invoices, right? What I'm going to do is that I'm going to change the invoice status into pending, because now I've sent this to provided I'm sending this to a client, I want to mark this as pending, then download the invoice and send it to the client so that they pay it, right? When I say update status, what you see now is that the system automatically use the embedded AI agents within itself to be able to post the journal entries. We're going to wait for it. Then now it shows that the journal entry has been posted. So what I'm expecting within this entry is that I'm expecting the account receivables to be posted. I'm expecting VAT output control to be posted, and I'm expecting the revenue to be recognized, right? Then I'm going to go to journal. This is the draft of the journal. It says description. It gives you the invoice number so that you'll be able to track the description, and it gives you the reference. Then it gives you the debits and the credits, right? Then it gives you the note. It tells you that this invoice, this transaction has been posted by an AI agent. This is the invoice for transportation services, logistic and transport revenue. So what happened was trade debtors control in the account receivable account for the total balance. If VAT is charged, the VAT output tax account is used, as this is a pure service invoice. No cost of sales or inventory adjustment are required. The invoice is pending, so no bank account is recorded. When I want to look into the lines to go further, I'm going to just click here to show lines. Then I'm going to see the different charts of accounts in which the invoice was posted. What I start to see now is that I'm seeing the trade debtors and the logistic and transport revenue. Then I see also the VAT output account. Then what I can do is to take this journal entry, then I'm going to say post. Then when I say post, it means that I've reviewed and approved the journal to be posted. Meaning that now, if I'm going to go to the, I'm going to go to the income statement. Let me just go to the reports over here. Just close this, go to the reports, income statement. I'm going to say apply. I want to see the revenue for the period since it ends at today, 2026. Let me just put this to August. Let me just put this to, just put this to 08 for August, then apply. Yes, now I can see the transaction which has to do with logistics and transport revenue recorded at 1,000 rand, right? Total revenue. Then my profit for the year is 1,000, right? If when I keep on posting other transactions as well, the statements are going to be updated based on that transaction at that point in time, given the transaction date. So what can happen now is you can go to also the transactions. You can look at here because the date was the 30th of July 2026. Then what you can do as well, if you want to change in the date, you can just click in here and update the date that was posted by the AI. But as from what it knows and the context that it got from that invoice, the correct date to post this transaction was the 30th of July 2026.